Insurance is a scam, and I sell it for a living. I've been in this game for 17 years, and I totally understand why you'd feel that way. Not because it doesn't work, but because it works exactly the way it was designed to. Most people think they're buying peace of mind, like no matter what happens, I'll be okay. But that's not actually what you bought. What you bought was math. And math doesn't care if you paid your premiums or if you've been responsible or even if it feels unfair. It just follows the rules. What do you mean it's just math? Well, let's think of insurance like just a bucket. And let's say everybody in our small town, 1,200 people, put in $100 into this bucket. And we agreed that if anything bad happens to anybody that's put money in the bucket, we're going to pay out of the bucket. So we got money there for fires and automobile accidents and anything that can happen, right? What happens when we start paying for slow leaks in the wall? Or someone who had their third DUI and smashes into a concrete flower pot? You can see how it starts to get weird, right? Let me show you what I mean. I've got a client. Let's call her Sarah. She's been paying her premiums faithfully for a long time. Never had any claims, no problems. Till one day she notices her kitchen flooring starting to kind of buckle a little bit. She digs in a little deeper and finds there's a leak in her wall. So she calls me up, says I need to open a claim, which we do. Send out our adjuster. Adjuster goes out, inspects the claim, and says it's not covered. It's denied because the leak was too slow and it happened over time. That feels pretty scammy. Sarah's thinking, I did everything right. I paid my premiums, I had this policy. But the company's like, no, the contract says no. And that's where it starts to get weird because what once started as this place where we're all putting money in to help out a friend and a neighbor now has to turn into a legal contract because we can't help everybody lest we run out of money in the bucket. That's where it starts to feel scammy. So what do we do with that? Let me show you. Let's go back to Sarah. In her case, the company tried to use this 60-page thunker to tell her there was no coverage. But what we did is we dug deep and we found the provision that said, actually, there is coverage if the damage is found to be accidental, which it was, hidden within the walls or ceiling or beneath the floors or above the ceilings of a structure. We solved it for her. That could have gone very differently for Sarah. And I was afraid that it would. The company was telling us there's no coverage. We dug deep and found out there was, and she was pumped. But that's where that scam feels, that's where it feels scammy because now it's an interpretation of a legal contract and not just friends paying for other friends out of a bucket. In Sarah's case, it turned out great. She was able to get brand new floors, get everything repaired. She was very happy. But what happens when the interpretation's right and there's no coverage? What happens when there actually are exclusions and you can't cover what you want to cover? Well, grab yourself a yellow pad and write down the 5 major things that if they happen in your world, it would completely derail everything. Maybe for you, it's a total loss house fire. Your house is completely gone. Maybe it's an automobile accident where you injure somebody and then they sue you for $5 million. Maybe it's a disability. I don't know. You know what those things are. Write them down, 5 of them. Then go to your agent and say, how can I be covered for these things? Once you have those things figured out, let the little stuff go. Here's the thing. Insurance isn't designed to fix everything. In fact, it's really best for catastrophes. Those are 2 very different goals. So if our expectation is that it solves all the problems, it's built for something different, there's going to be disappointment. The system can be fair, but still feel cruel. It can be working perfectly and still feel wrong. I sit in a weird seat. I see the policies, I see the claims. Sometimes I see the disappointment. And I don't have a lot of emotional tolerance for nonsense. I've got 4 kids. My son Levi has a ridiculously rare muscle disease. And when you have to take a phone call from a neurologist that says, we think it's muscular dystrophy, your tolerance for fine print drama really drops dramatically. I've learned that a lot of the things that we hold so tightly to, that we buy insurance to replace, that's not as important as things like time, relationships. And insurance can't really protect against those things. So is insurance a scam? A little bit it is, but not really. Think about what it allows us to do. You can go buy a house that you can't afford so that the bank is happy. You can buy a car and drive on the road with other flying metal missiles and not have to be worried if you have an accident that you're going to lose everything. You can start a business. There are countless ways that insurance really does help our society move along. But I'm biased. I work in the insurance industry. Why listen to me? I'm glad you did. I'm glad you joined me. Hit the subscribe button and join us because we're going to cover many more topics far more exciting than insurance. See you next time.